Our dog Barney is getting lots of exercise at the moment. Lockdown restrictions still make an allowance for dog walking, of course still maintaining the correct social distancing. We were thinking about hiring Barney out to anyone else who was looking for an excuse to go for a walk. But even Barney has had enough of the new arrangements now. A few days ago, Barney and I were walking across the Rainwood playing fields, heading towards the school. As we approached the entrance of the playing fields, I had to stop and look at the wonderful sight of a tree in full blossom. Don't ask me what kind of tree it is, though. I'm certainly no Alan Titchmarsh. The sun shone through the beautiful pink petals, and every so often when the wind blew, there would be a flurry falling like wedding confetti. Then I noticed that right next to the blossom-filled tree there was another tree. However, this second tree looked dead and lifeless. No blossom, no leaves, just a skeleton of branches and twigs. And yet, even that second tree will soon have its moment. As the days lengthen, leaves will shoot out from those lifeless branches, giving a vibrant green display until autumn comes again. As I looked at the two trees, those words from the book of Ecclesiastes came to mind. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. Then, as the writer goes on, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down, a time to build, a time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather them, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to search and a time to give up, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for a war and a time for peace. These are not words of despair or words of hopelessness, but these are words acknowledging that in all things we can discover the purposes of God. Now, by this time, Barney was fed up of looking at trees, and it was time to move on. For Barney, a tree is good for one thing only, and I won't go into details about that. Whether today is filled with blossom or a day when the branch seems to be lifeless, we can find hope in the ways of God. As the writer of Ecclesiastes concludes in verse 14, I know that everything God does will endure forever. Nothing can be added to it, and nothing taken from it. May we know the enduring hope of God in all that we experience today and in the coming weeks. A closing prayer written by Charles Spurgeon. It says, Father, give to us and to all your people, in times of anxiety, serenity, in times of hardship, courage, in times of uncertainty, patience, and at all times a quiet trust in your wisdom and love, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.